This works, right? Excellent. Because then I can move around. And I am truly excited to be talking about urticaria at AAD. I mean, this doesn't happen often. And even more so about chronic inducible urticaria, because even among the urticaria, whenever we do talk about the urticaria, it's usually but we also have these patients that do need treatment. And we don't really have chronic inducible urticaria is a group of diseases, and you see some examples up here. They have really very different frequencies. If we look at this is relatively old, pure data, so pure chronic urticaria registry. We have to update this now, but you get the idea because I only want to talk about the frequencies here. You see symptomatic dermatophysis, but for the most common, followed by cold. And this is already something that is often underestimated, because if you ask here around the physicians at the AAD conference, you will often hear that don't really see. But they are out there, and it is a relatively common urticaria disease. Overall, we have the prevalence for chronic urticaria of 1.5%, and 1 out of 4 of these patients are chronic inducible urticaria patients, and then there are additional patients who have both CSU and CSU. So apparently we do have difficulties with this because of various reasons. I mean, patients who have difficulties with this, but we as physicians also have some difficulties, and I just want to highlight a few. So one, there is a problem for both the patients and for us. It often takes a very long time until diagnosis for various reasons. I go into a little bit but this also means that they don't get treatment, any treatment, if they don't know what they have. And one of the reasons is because we as the treating physicians don't really know how to diagnose and what to do with these patients, or we don't have all the necessary tools to do it, which becomes more true, of course, with very rare the therapeutic situation that we have for our patients with chronic inducible urticaria at the moment is really like the pre-OMA days in CSU. These were the dark days, So these patients were strong word, but hated by the dermatologists. You didn't want to see the CSU patient in your office, and this is actually going on still with chronic inducible urticaria because we don't have any licensed drug. Of course, we can use antihistamines, and then that's it. Now, some are saying that we don't need these drugs because the patients are not that severely infected. As always, this is not true. There are patients who have mild forms of CSU, but there are patients with very severe forms. So it's a really wide range of severity levels, and that also makes these patients often underappreciated in their severity. So I just want to give two examples of this wide range of very different types of burden these inducible urticaria cases in patients. So it really depends on the individual disease. And we'll start with the cold urticaria. I mean, this is the one urticaria, it's the only one urticaria where a patient can die of, and actually always there's not one year without a death on cold urticaria. And most of the patients have had the symptoms for years, and only some also the diagnosis. So that means that patients running around without knowing that they have urticaria, these are the patients that actually are at the risk of dying. problems coming with it. So overall, it's mostly younger people. So we mainly have males around 60 to 22 or so. And these patients mainly suffer from the avoidance. So the symptoms that they get is like for 15 to 30 minutes, wheels all over, super itchy, and then it's done. But for the day at least. But this leads to them not doing any more sports, not going to parties, no dancing, whatever. And these are people in the prime of their years. The other aspect is that these symptoms, so conversion urticaria, it's not only the exercise, but it's also the core body temperature. And stress is also leading to increasing core body temperature. So therefore, this also leads to the fear of stressful situations. And you can probably relate that this is problematic if you know that you have an exam coming up, that you not only fear the exam, but you also fear that you get your hives before that, so it's actually added to the problem. And in the end, this of course leads to poor performance. And I could go through all these symptoms with really individual problems that these have, but I won't, because of the time. I want to have a few words on diagnosis and then on the treatment. So how to diagnose and assess disease activity and severity. And in the end, it is straightforward. We need a proper history taken, which is doable. Just have to be aware, so we ask for certain triggers, and then it's provocation, and ideally a threshold testing. And provocation, for the most, is relatively easy to be done, even without these special tools. You use a spatula, or for symptomatic demography, for example, ice cube, in the plastic bag for the cold urticaria. If you want to provoke threshold testing, so understanding which threshold the symptoms start to occur, the little bit more sophisticated device like a free test for the symptomatic demographism or TEM test for cold urticaria, and cholinergic urticaria, we have pulse controlled ergonometry. In sort urticaria, these are old machines or whatever you have used to test UV-like diseases. But it can be done. And it should be done. Because it gives us important information. It gives us information that we can use in clinical trials that makes the diseases studiable. But it's also important for our patients, and I will just give you this example for all urticaria patients. So depending on the threshold, it's very relevant for the patient to know what can I do without a problem, depending on the critical temperature threshold that I have. So this is information that already, without even treating the patient, can improve the quality of life of these patients. And if we only look at the swimming situation, it of course makes this extremely important difference on where the critical temperature threshold is. So imagine a patient with a CTT, critical temperature threshold of 80 degrees Celsius. So patients have this very stable critical temperature threshold. So if I do this next week, it's again 8 plus minus 1 plus 1. So we can tell this patient, well, you can even go swimming here in February next door. They talk about the beach, you should be fine. But if it's a patient with 22 degrees Celsius, then this can be dangerous for this patient. And he needs or she needs to go and get heated in the room. And this does help our patient also to avoid the anxiety of this situation. So this is an example of how we're doing it. We're using the TEM test for cold urticaria patient. There's temperature on this ring here, starting from 4 degrees, going up to 44, so we can also test for these super rare heat urticaria patients, and then again we will. And you can then meet the critical temperature threshold that these patients have. In this case, this goes up as much as Ages ago, probably 2010, we reported about consecutive patients and their critical temperature thresholds, just to get an idea where is it. And there is a widespread. So from 4 to 27 degrees, we now actually also have patients going up to 35 degrees. But you see that most of the patients are above 20 degrees Celsius. I hope you can recalculate to Fahrenheit as I can. So, I mean, cold urticaria. Seriously, this is something that is affecting. In Berlin, this is the standard temperature that you get. So it's relevant, very relevant. And just one last slide on what we can do with these patients. So we do have tools for many inducible urticaria. We can all do provocation tests, so to make sure of the diagnosis. Threshold testing is possible in these. In some it's more, for example here the pulse oximetry is a little bit more, it's more manpower, but it can be done. We have control testing, the urticaria control test. This is something that works in chronic spontaneous urticaria, in patients with wheals, in patients with angioedema, and it also works in every patient with inducible urticaria. So this is something that can be used and will be used, and for example in the ongoing phase 3 trial with remibrutinib in chronic inducible urticaria, this is also the one tool that is used as an overarching tool for all inducible urticarias. Yeah, and then we call it live translated. So finally, a few words on, we do have some information on effective treatment. So we did 2 randomized controlled trials as an investigator-initiated, there's 2 investigator-initiated trials some years ago using anti-IgE in symptomatic hemoptysis and cold urticaria. You see, it works. It works very nice. It works even better, you could say, than in CSU, because the 150 also show really good effects. If we look at the individual patients, you see there's hardly any placebo effect, and then you see they are coming down to normal signs and symptoms for this day, most of them. So it's almost like a black and white response. There are some in between, also in cold urticaria here. There are some that improve about a few degrees Celsius, but the majority you see are either complete responder or they're non-responding. So, OMA works, but it's not approved, and it will not get approved. Novartis is not going to do the trials for OMA. But as I said, there's phase 3 now with remibrutinib BTK inhibitor in inducible urticaria, and maybe this will be the first time that is approved. And then we have another possibility, and this is depleting mast cells, getting rid of mast cells. There are different ways of how this can be done. And the Dermatology had a phase 1b study in chronic inducible urticaria patients, in patients with cold urticaria and symptomatic dermatitis. And what we saw in these patients, when they received a one-time dose of IV barzolvolimab, the mast cells were gone. Right? So this is the mast cell count over time, and roughly about after 8 weeks, the mast cells are gone. But more importantly, the signs and symptoms were gone. So we did provocation tests in these patients, and it was not possible to provoke the symptoms in these patients, both in cold urticaria and symptomatic dermatitis. So no mast cells, no more signs and symptoms. And with that, our team in Berlin has